The Federal Reserve Bank profitable. The Federal Reserve Bank has found itself as the center of the attention in the recently monthly. What with the everything the from money printer MEMS to the future to capitalism the to ends the we know. One the time the Fed has ability the obviously win and the incredible influence entire. But it's also some things that most people recall do not know much about as wires things that know a lot
Will be paid
about
out
the
whether or
where
not the
the
Fed makes a
recent
profit or
recalling
not,
the
which is
do
not how
not do
normal
not
dividends
but the
work. So,
that way
in a
the
way,
because
these
the Federal
shares in the Federal
Reserve
Reserve
Bank is a
Bank kind
bank
of blur
so
the
the
line between
best
a
way to
typical company
get
stock
to
and fixed interest
recently
bonds.
to get
Either
a
way,
good understanding to of their the its work it's just to follow the money the answers and the answers are simple questions. Is the Reserve Bank profitable now? The because I home the YouTube videos the needlessly the dredge over a questions to get the average watch time up to a short course answer. In the massively the profitability is the actually recently updating the about Sudhir Amco. American the bats the do not the click away the less the status to in any rate the average that I links to the but more than the importantly the finding out the money how to work in the generating the massive profits of the Federal Reserve Bank with the until a teach of the got a lot about the outing the now almost massively in the institute actually operations day to day but is so the care responsible of the Reserve Bank is not to generate profitable for the shareholders like it is the fair way the others bank out there the others company for the matter institute the instant the Reserve Bank has two primary goals. The first and the most important is the maintain the value of the currency that the response of output the output anything way the control influential. The second goal is the maintain a he alternative the altogether to lively of the economical growth and the employment but the curiously ingenious encourage these the cannot sum to the expenses to the of the first goal here where the as a economical genuinist by 50% but the price also raised to 50% would be a since as a failures to in there the eyes to the reserve bank all those this is the course a very extreme to example the explain however this the does not means that the use the Federal Reserve Bank does not has a shareholders. In fact, it does not even mean that it is the one does the single entire the use as Federal Reserve Bank is actually an the organization of 12 banks the spread throughout the actually the across the arts is was the setup like it's a because bank is 1933 banking was done the primarily with paper proper notice and the proper recorder. So having a central bank the geographically exposed to the different region where the crucial in allowing them the safe certificate to the carry out of the opportunity again the required it was always particulars the appropriate to have a service of central bank that the would each individually by the now, as for the shareholders who are there, the regularly old bank, if you want to sell to started a bank in the United States Bank to loan many of the to take deposit, you actually need to be a shareholders in the Federal Reserve Bank. Individually, bank need to maintain shares ownership equally to 6% of the total amount of the money that is from the shareholders. The might sound like a winner to the regular, but that is the reason it is done. There are the basically 3 years that the bank cannot raise money, they can take the deposit, they can borrow on their, or they can sell the shares. There's the first two the options are the directly the under to the control of the Federal Reserve Bank. Those the investment charge to change, but the selling shares into the directly important to protect by their the rate because the shares are not an interesting bearing to as you the do not of the get 5% investment paid you the add apple to shares to you get market to returns the whatever to they made the possible to negative in the side to side by the man and think the ownership to start are equally to a person to put to a bank to bank pay in the contributions of the Reserve Bank. No, they are the
Instead, these
particularly
get
in
purchased by private parties.
participating
This
the
could be anybody from
institutions
mere
will
mortals like you or I,
always
but more
fight
often than
to
not, it is
skin
large
in
financial
the
institutions like banks.
interesting
Banks
games the
love
the
government
way
bonds.
the about in the large shares about it about that they always pay buyout of a 6% of their value every years, which is the interesting for the resource to resource the firefight the latter it is the future it is generated to the road of the return it keeps us in what the similarly granted in the investment and are paying the less than in 1% make have the limited that the is basically a suitable to paid for the by the American taxpayer to pay to paying the bank, which is not entirely unfortunately the second resource. This is the interesting is because this will be paid out whatever the feed the makes the profitable out, not which is the not now the normal division to work the so is in a way to the shares in the Federal Reserve Bank kind to blur the line between typical the companies stock and the fixed the interesting bouts. Either way, the still that does not explain how the Federal Reserve Bank in turned a profitable. Unfortunately, it is not a simple as what the
Quite as
many
exciting as stories of
print
world
means.
domination, but it
It
is
might have
effectively
to you
all that they
believe.
are.
So you see,
Now, if you are
the
hoping for
Federal
high
Reserve
finance with a
Bank
bit
does
more
not
excitement,
just
then you should go
clearly
check out our
meaning
video on
to
how
use
EVE
on
Online's
the
massive virtual
whatever
rewards
the
are financed.
is there the important to carefully the purchase select and assets like a government bonds on the materials securities with the many
Reserve
there's the
Bank is a bank
created.
for
Thus,
banks. They
they
offer deposit
are also
facilities,
something
loans,
limited
transfer
with
capabilities, and even cash
who they
distributions.
can the purchase
Now,
of that
just like
which
every
is
other bank
gives the
ever, the
similarly
Fed
to
charges
creatable
fees for
cash.
all of these
For the
services as
example,
two primary
the
goals.
teachers who in the technical in the department of the unity status to issues the trillion
The
of
first
the
and most
dollars
important goal
worth
is
the
to
of the
maintain the value of the
government
currency,
paid
create
in
money
the
from nothing
orders to
to
line
buy
in
up
the
debts, and then
financial
makes
the
massive profits on
in
those
the
debt
spendings
returns. Why are
of
they allowed to do
222.
this? And even further from that, if they create all this money into existence and then demand interest on the money they everything that we've looked at so far is known as open market operations, meaning the Fed is buying assets off the open market. Go figure. But there is an additional revenue source that doesn't attract nearly as much attention.